Hi MOHA Network. We are thrilled to introduce Steve and Kevin with Flexmort, with the Cuddle Cot system from the UK. We've spent a few days with them, got to know them, got to really understand the Cuddle Cot product, and we want you to stay tuned and learn more about it, how to take it apart, how to put it together, and learn more about them and their company. So stay tuned.
My name is Steve Huggins. I've been with the company since its start 12 years ago.
My name's Kevin. I joined Cuddle Cot in late 2021.
We launched the Cuddle Cot around about 10 years ago. I'm one of the co-inventors, and the Cuddle Cot came from after talking with a mum who told us her story about losing her son, Finley. We took one of our existing systems, which was cooling pads for larger deceased, and we said, right, can we do something to help this mum and her son Finley? And we kind of got our heads together, we played with a few ideas, and basically the rest is history. The Cuddle Cot came out of that, allowing time for the family.
So I joined Cuddle Cot to help accelerate their growth and to really bring awareness around the Cuddle Cot to more people in more countries, not just in the UK and the US, but also around the world.
The real benefit is it allows the family, mum, dad, to be parents. And I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, I think the Cuddle Cot does a number of things. It shows, gives the opportunity for families to enact that role as parents and to go through some of the things that they envisage doing as parents. In the worst possible circumstances, they can continue to take on that role as parent. I think the other thing that's really important with the Cuddle Cot is baby is next to the parents. It's in the hospital. It doesn't have to be taken away to the mortuary or to the morgue. The reality is that families know that baby's being cared for because it's next to mum in the hospital, which I think is reassuring on many levels, as to know that baby is being cared for.
I'm quite fortunate. I get to see quite a lot of families after the event at various fundraising groups, fundraising events I go to for non-profit groups, particularly in the US. And amongst the tears, the family are telling me, and I'm crying too, the families are telling me about their situations, and the word that comes out of it is joy. How much joy they got of showing now to family members, spending time with their child, their baby, and that's quite plain to see.
I continue to be amazed at the response that the Cuddle Cot gets from families. And it makes me incredibly proud around how families view how the Cuddle Cots help them in the most difficult circumstances that they've encountered. I think what comes across is that they feel like they've regained some level of control in a situation that they never thought they would be in. I think the opportunity in future years, when they reflect back and feel like they've had time with baby that they may not have got previously with the Cuddle Cot, I think is incredibly humbling for me as an employee for Cuddle Cot. And at the same time start to influence healthcare professionals to really have the conversations with families and feel confident enough to have the conversation with families about the Cuddle Cot and how it can help them.
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm one of the co-inventors of the Cuddle Cot. I work for a company called Flexmort, and I'm here to show you how to put the Cuddle Cot together and take it apart. So I'll do it nice and slowly. So we start off with the main elements of the Cuddle Cot. You have the unit itself, you have the cool pad, you have the hose, you have the small bottle of biocide, and you have the foil insulation. So first things first, you put the foil insulation into the device, whatever you're using, such as Moses basket or bassinet. On top of the foil, you'd place the cool pad, okay, and then on top of that you'd place sheet or blanket or something similar, and then baby goes on top of that. It's also useful if you put a couple of blankets over baby just to help with the insulation, and it looks very nice as well. So, hose, we've designed the hose so it's got two separate ends, so you can't put the Cuddle Cot together incorrectly. You've got the females, you have the males, they simply click together. This end of the hose goes into the unit itself. That's the only hose and only hole available. And just push it in and listen for the click. Your Cuddle Cot is now ready to go. Okay, so what you do, you take the filler cap off, you'd fill the Cuddle Cot up with distilled or purified water till it's round about 1/3 to 2/3 visible in the reservoir. Each time you fill the Cuddle Cot up, we recommend just 2 drops of the biocide, which helps ensure the water stays clear and any leftover water remains clean. Once you fill the Cuddle Cot up, turn the Cuddle Cot on using the on button, and then set the temperature using the downward button to 46 degrees to as low as it can go. If the display is showing 8 degrees, don't worry, that's only in centigrade, so just simply press the Fahrenheit to centigrade button and it will convert it to 46 degrees centigrade. Press the enter button. The Cuddle Cot will kick into life, it will gurgle, and you'll hear the water rushing into the pad. You will have to top up the Cuddle Cot as you go, as the water runs into the pad. Just top it up again with the same water till around about 1/3 to 2/3 of the reservoir. Once it's up and running, place the filler cap back onto the Cuddle Cot. It is now operational. You will see the temperature start to drop within about 60 seconds. Your Cuddle Cot is now operational and the family can be taken into the family and used straight away. Okay, so the Cuddle Cot's now been finished with. My advice to you is allow the Cuddle Cot to warm back up to ambient temperature before it goes into storage. This is just to help prolong the life of the cool pads. If it's been up and running for around 24 hours over, everything cold, it can get very brittle. So just allow it to warm up to room temperature if you get the chance. Okay, so what I would suggest you do is simply turn off the Cuddle Cot. The engine or the motor will still be running. This is just the system cooling down on its own. Okay. And it's basically doing everything opposite to what you've done to set up. To disconnect the pad and hose, simply press the blue buttons and the hose will come out. Now, to take the hose out of the unit, this is very, very important. There's a little sticker there telling you where the button is. It's underneath. There's a button just there. Please, please don't pull out the hose on its own. You will damage the system and it will therefore put the Cuddle Cot out of use and cost money to repair. Simply press the button and wiggle the hose and it will come out. Simple as that. When it comes to draining the water out, you can use either the drain key that's in the box supplied, or I personally just tip the water straight out at the top. And when you do tip it out, give the unit a couple of turns just to ensure you get all the water out as best as possible. For taking the water out the hose, simply press down on the self-locking valves and the water will come out. There really isn't a huge amount of water, so don't be surprised if only a few drops come out. As I say, once it's all warmed back up and dried, pop it into the box. It's useful if you just leave the filler cap off as well, which allows the system to dry out while not in use.
Hi everyone, so now we're talking about troubleshooting the Cuddle Cot. So Steve, we've turned on the unit and we've noticed that the unit is not cooling after about a minute. What would we first do?
Okay, there's 3 steps, but I'll talk you through the first one first. Okay, it's very simple. First of all, make sure that the hose, pad and everything's connected and it's not kinked. Just like a garden hose, if there's too much of a kink in it, it will stop the water flowing. And make sure, and this is most important, the filler cap is in place. If the filler cap is in place, simply open it and you may or may not hear an escape of air, and that more than often stops the problem and the unit will start to cool straight away. It was a simple airlock where the pressure was being held in by the filler cap. Replace the filler cap and you'll see the temperature going down.
Hello. Okay, so we troubleshot the first problem.
Yep.
It's still not cooling. We've checked for kinks. We've opened the valve and checked to make sure it's locked in place. What do we do next?
Okay, nice and easy this one. On top, there's a vent. Now the system sucks cold air in through the vent. So just take it off and you can see through it. Now this is just like your vents on your dryers, so you might have excess fluff. So if you do have excess fluff, just wipe it off and replace it to allow the air to go into the system.
Thank you. Okay, Steve, I've checked the filler cap, I've checked for kinks in the hose, and I've checked the filter and it's still not working. What do I do next?
Okay, you've probably got an airlock in the system, okay? Very, very simple to remove. I'll talk you through that process now. So, with the Cuddle Cot turned on and up and operational, remove the filler cap. Most important. Then, with the cool pad up and running, roll up the cool pad like a napkin. And you can be quite firm with this, but it must be towards the hose end. And you can give it a good squeeze, okay? And what you're going to be doing, you're going to force the water through the system, and you may even see the water increase in the reservoir. But you must take the filler cap out, because what we're trying to do is force out the air, okay? You might need to do this a few times. And again, once you've been successful, you'll hear a gurgling sound and the unit and the water rush in, and it will start to cool straight away. If that's the case, put your filler cap back on and you're operational. Now, you might have what we call a very stubborn airlock. So you've done that a few times, 2 or 3 times, and you're still getting no success. So very, very easy to sort out. Turn off the Cuddle Cot, disconnect the hose, again, remembering to use the button underneath. Take out the filler cap and tip the water out of the Cuddle Cot, ensuring that you give it a turn and a swizzle, okay? Because what you're trying to do is remove the water from the small reservoir inside and all the pipes, okay? Once you've got most of the water out, connect it back up again. Do not put the filler cap on. Turn the unit on, so there's no water in the unit. You will not damage the unit. Then, with it turned on and up and running, slowly start to fill the unit. Again, you'll hear gurgling sounds, and what that's going to do, that's going to help the pump just push any stubborn airlocks out the way. Place the filler cap back in its space, and you'll notice the system is reducing in temperature. Okay?
Thank you.